2023 is proving a very tough year. Intense power cuts, increasing crime, a stuttering economy, and it can be pretty overwhelming at times. So it has been quite an inspiration to read a book about a man who simply doesn't give up, no matter what. This discipline and determination have undoubtedly been part of the keys to his success as a top international sportsman, but equally, that mindset has in the past few years been tested to the limit with a cancer diagnosis. Most of us know of the name Oscar Chalupsky. He's paddled his way into the history books here at home and internationally. But in November 2019, he was forced to take on a challenge of a lifetime. He was given just 6 months to live with a diagnosis of multiple myeloma. That's an incurable type of bone marrow cancer. But Oscar tackled the devastating news with his same grit. And he has, with journalist Graham Spence, written his life story. What an amazing tale it is. The book is No Retreat, No Surrender. It came out late last year. Oscar joins me now from Franschhoek in the Western Cape. Oscar, absolutely loved the book. So great to read your story. And it really tells us the story of you from a youngster. I did not realize at the age of just 15, you not only won the junior Ironman, but you won the senior Ironman. And the two events literally took place back to back. I think you said in the book you had a chance to drink a Coca-Cola before you had to go to the next event. What is astounding for me throughout the book is your ability to drum up and crucially maintain absolute incredible levels of discipline and commitment. I mean, it's really hard to maintain that level of discipline and commitment. Certainly for me, certainly I think for a lot of people watching. But you've maintained that grit your whole life. What do you put it down to? Is it genes? Is it upbringing? Is it just you?
I think it's, Sally, thank you very much, firstly, is that it's all about your positive attitude in life. And you know, the funny things, and you mentioned those three things. Yes, I've maybe got better genes than most people, but I've still got 2 arms and 2 legs, so everybody can do the same as me. It's just that commitment. And I don't know what did it. At a young age of 15, my father said, if you want to do anything, do it properly. Do it once and do it properly. And I think that stuck at the age of 15. And let me tell you, winning is a lot better than losing. And that's what sort of pushed me to become, even now, I'm still so determined to win everything that I enter. And I think everybody can do that. I mean, and that's the thing. The whole thing about the book was to try and help people that are going through troubled times, going through stress in life. And that's why I wanted to be this book, not about showing about paddling and things like that, but to help people. And I know I've got something special, and I think everybody's got it in them. And it's up to them to bring it out. And that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to bring it out so that they can be the same. I mean, Sally, yes, it's hard waking up at 4:30 in the morning, but if you do it every day and just do it a little bit, you will achieve. And that's what life's about.
And we're looking at some of the pictures that are in your book, and thank you so much for allowing us to put those on air. And it shows really key points of your life. You know, there, of course, is where you're dealing with your cancer. But let's go a little bit further back, because you realised very early that you wanted to be a paddler, that you loved the water, and ideally you would have been a professional sportsman, and your peers, right from that young age, were becoming professional sportsmen, were being paid proper money, and you've always had to hustle. That's the other thing that struck me. You've always had to hustle to do what you love, from sleeping on friends' floors in Hawaii, you know, to borrowing trucks and eating as little as possible. I mean, it's an extraordinary achievement. Also, of course, even though you validly hold a German passport, born in South Africa, but your dad was German, you were barred from those international competitions, except for one, which of course was the Molokai Challenge in Hawaii, which you've won so many times. Talk to me about dealing with the disappointment of not being able to compete in your prime on the world stage. How did you deal with not getting bitter?
You see, that thing about life, I mean, like now, we're going through tough times and stuff. We've got load shedding, we've got all these things, but there's opportunities everywhere you look. And this opportunity came. I understand that I won that junior and senior Ironman, which you talked about before. And then I had this opportunity in 1983. In April, I heard about this race, Molokai to Oahu, and this guy, Grant Kenny, who also won the junior senior Ironman a month after me, and he's actually on SABC TV with Michael De Morgan. You remember him?
Yes.
And he got slapping a TV. Exactly. And this made me so cross, so angry about, and you've got to focus your anger. If you're cross about load shedding and things, rather use that anger to be positive. And that's what I did. I went there and I raced and I give up everything. At the time, I was on a rugby bursary because I played for Natal schools, and I was doing a CA. And I decided I'm going to race this guy, Grant Kenny, who I waited for 5 years to compete against. He'd won this Molokai race 4 years in a row. And guess what? I raced it. I beat him. And of course, coming second, the excuses are very long. When you win, there's not too many excuses. But he had a long excuse. And I won that race 7 years in a row. And then I got banned. But just like anything, people cry about that. I went from being this paddler, and then I took up golf, and then Graham Beck down the road, he was going to sponsor me to be a professional golfer, which didn't happen. And again, I didn't cry about it. Then Nelson Mandela got released, and they said, okay, I'm going to the Olympics. So in 1992, I changed from being a long-distance paddler, golfer, and then a sprinter. And off I went to the 1992 Olympics. So you've got to take these opportunities. In hardships and bad times, there's opportunities, and you've got to look for the good in everything, Sally. And people don't do this. Everybody's saying, oh, no, South Africa is such a terrible place. Believe me, when you're sitting in Bubblin's store and having Reggie, he's got the light here, and you just think, oh, I'm having a good time, Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to make it good. I know it's like people. Some people hate other people. Don't look at the bad side of things. Always look on the good side. There's always is a positive side. I can assure you there is. Look at me. Yeah. 6 months to live. I'm here, and at no stage, believe me, Sally. Let's not beat around the bush. It is tough. Sometimes when I'm feeling sick, and the other day I had a bad back, and then and you think, and my wife always says, oh, it could be pancreatic cancer. Then let me tell you, I've got no more cancer. I've got 2 cancers, and that's enough.
Yeah, of course, because you were also given a diagnosis of skin cancer. But let's move to talking about, that's where they cut out the one cancer formation. Talk to me about that diagnosis, because you had been used to competing. You'd been used to pushing yourself, dealing with disappointment, dealing with unfortunate news. In 2019, and this was at the start of a race, you were going through excruciating pain, but such was your training that you just pushed on. Then this awful diagnosis came, and it coincided. Of course, you were diagnosed in 2019 November. Your treatment coincided with COVID-19, and for all the races you've run, for all the difficulties that you've had to endure on the water, it seems to me that cancer was the toughest challenge. Am I right?
No, you're 100% right. When you've got limited time to live, you realize, sure, I better do something about this. And again, at no stage in this time, when I got given this 6 months, I said, no way, this cancer cannot be that strong, impossible to happen. And I was always positive. And I think that's the thing, is that it's so easy to get negative on yourself. And believe me, if you start getting negative, you go downhill. So can you imagine, it was on the 25th of November, 2019. And when I got that news, yes, I might have shed a tear or two. My wife shed many, because the people that support you, and that's the important thing in life, and you have to have support, and you've got to lean on people. They take more strain than me. So when I got given that diagnosis, you got 6 months to live, I shed a few tears. But you know what I said? It was my wife's birthday on the 26th of November. I said, Claire, we're going to celebrate your 60th birthday. And we did. That's the difference. You've got to just put it out of your mind and do it. And that's what I did. I mean, and again, yes, obviously, all those time and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and training and doing that helped me in this fight. But the one fight you have to have is that brain is stronger than your body, and you've got to keep that brain positive and surround yourself with positive people, and surround yourself with books and everything with positive. And I think that's the thing. I mean, you talk about it. It's not easy waking up 4 o'clock. And I know now that you have to wake up early and do these things, but it comes with the territory. There's no easy way out. You've got to put the work in, but you'll reap the rewards if you put the work in.
Yeah, and I love how you explain that there are things that you have to accept are not within your control. And sometimes you just have to listen to the doctor. And you got this bone marrow transplant, and it seems to have been really effective. We do have to close, which is sad because I'd love to chat for so much longer. But talk to me about your life now. How is your health? I understand you live your life between Portugal, where you help make surf skis, and also you live here in South Africa. But just tell me, how are you doing?
Well, I'm actually doing very well. I mean, at the end of the day, again, you can always look at other people. There are people going through tougher times than me. And I'm just very blessed that I'm still training as hard as hell. And on the 28th of May, I'm going to go and do the Molokai, the Shaw & Partners Molokai. And I'm going to race with a guy called Dean Gardner, who's won the race 9 times. I've won it 12 times. So between the two of us, we get 21 Molokai wins. And we're going to do it in a relay, so it's not so stressful. But at the end of the day, I've got a commitment to do this race, so I'll lose another 15 kilograms, and I'll be training 2 or 3 hours a day, no matter what, because I'm always on permanent chemo. So I fly back to Portugal in 3 weeks' time, and I'll be on my chemo, but training hard and not letting anything get in the way of what I enjoy. And that's what you got to do. You got to make your life fun. If you're not having fun, change direction.
Beautiful message, and we are right behind you. Let's hope you do amazing things at that Molokai. Thank you so much. Absolutely loved your book, and do enjoy the rest of your time here in South Africa before you fly back to Portugal. Really an amazing story, worth a read. His book, No Retreat, No Surrender.